restating and filler. That is this entire chapter. That is all that we have learned, except for a very brief, tiny, minute bit of information. So, again, welcome back. And this is chapter 3. So let me explain a little bit of what happened. Now, Teresa is in college. She's randomly in college. I don't know why she's in Boston College. I have no idea why she's in Boston College. That was never explained. It was never really gone into why she chose this one in particular. It's hinted that the reason she chose it is because it's near where she's originally from. But I don't know, because it's not explained. So, that happened. Also, the reason she can afford to go to Boston University, this big college, I assume it's Boston University. She just calls it Boston College. So I don't really know, but I assume. The reason she can do that is because the Pope is paying for it. Sure. Okay. Did I ever tell you guys I went to LSU because Barack Obama paid for it? Why wouldn't he? We are two people who barely know each other, and he kind of knows that I am a unicorn. That's it. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Let's move on. Norman takes, let's see, about 2 pages to complain about reality TV and social media again. About 4.5 paragraphs to talk about how college boys don't have the strict religious morals that he expects young men to have, because Teresa is just not that kind of girl. You know, because we really needed to know that. It's important in the story of the girl with the alien living in her. It's very important to know that she won't just fuck anyone. I needed to know that. He made sure to write it down. So, when I talked about filler, she at some point says that there's somebody who might be following her. You know, the government who is following her, but then wasn't. Well, they are again. And then they call the President of the United States. Yes, that's how he wrote it. Yes, I'm going to fucking explain this. First, they call the director of the FBI, which they just refer to as the director, and everybody with this college police who found these 2 guys who were following her is, so surprised that they know the director, except they don't say that it's the director of the FBI. He just says the director, so they could be talking about, the director of the FBI, the director of CIA, or fucking Martin Scorsese. I don't know, because it's never explained until you go through. But they're supposed to have already known this. But let's go ahead and also talk about some more wonderful things. Spelling errors. There's a couple of those in this chapter. There's a part where she says hang, which is fun. And there's also something else. But back to the director. Immediately afterwards, we have the director is calling the President of the United States. We have to make sure that you know it's the President of the United States, not the President of, the book club. The fuck did they think they were called? Anyway, it's not important. There's also a 2.5 retelling of the basic synopsis of the Caine Mutiny. You know the story of the Caine Mutiny? Well, if you didn't, it's in here for 2.5 pages. Because she watched a movie version of the Caine Mutiny. So we had to tell the story of the Caine Mutiny. Yeah, that happened. The only reason I'm not going to tell you the story of the Caine Mutiny is because I'm fairly certain that all of you who are listening to this are capable adults, capable of using Google and watching it if you want to fucking watch it. I don't need to explain to you the story. because you're an adult and you understand how that works. This isn't the story of the Caine Mutiny. This is the story of Empress Theresa. Or rather, in this part, this is the story of Empress Theresa, who watches the fucking Caine Mutiny! Let's move on. So, this is all done because she meets this guy and his friend. And the friend asks her out, but oh, golly gosh, that guy who asked her out, he ain't got no morals, girlfriend. And it turns out that he has a girlfriend back home who came to visit him. And her response to this, instead of just being like, oh, well, you know, you're a prick, fine, we're not going out anymore, is... let's go ahead and review this part. So, exclamation point. Two-timing Jack was coming up for a last look, was he? I'd give him something to look at. I went to the closet and pulled out my, quote, little black nothing. It was a backless dress made of flimsy, clingy material. It was something appropriate for a party, but in my room, with no other girls to look at, Jack would find it hard to forget. He deserved the VIP treatment. So basically, she found out that he had another girlfriend because the other girlfriend showed up at college, and her response to this was, oh, okay, and then went upstairs and put on just, you know, a sexy dress, and then raised the hemline, because she did. She had to tape up the hemline so that it's like 9 inches above the knee, I think is how it was spelled out, and then waited for him to show up, and then was just like, you know, this is me, and he's like, oh, you're hot, and she's like, nope, you done wasted your chance, mister, bye, 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 and threw him out, and then 2.5 pages of the fucking synopsis of the Caine Mutiny, and then she meets the other guy, Steve. Oh, Steve. Steve is just the love of her life. Literally. They've known each other for, I think, if I add up all the times they actually talk to each other, maybe like a page and a half. And if we do that in actual time, in the book, they spent 24 hours together. 24 hours. Less than that, actually. I think more like 16. And their first date, quote unquote, is that Steve apparently showed up after Jack left, and it was just like, yeah, nobody knew he had a girlfriend, sorry about that. And she's like, it's cool, you didn't know. And he's like, right, you look good in that dress, though. And she's like, don't be looking at things you ain't supposed to, man. And he's like, oh, I was just thinking, just like, oh, it's fine, Steve, I'm wearing a thong, you won't see anything. She has to spell out she's wearing a thong. Do you guys do that? Is that a thing? Is that, let me go ahead and ask this question. To all of my listeners who identify as female, is it a common practice to just tell strange men that you've just met what kind of underwear you're wearing? You know what? You don't have to answer that question because I know the answer. Of course you fucking don't! Nobody does this shit! Who the fuck talks like this? What is this shit? Oh, yeah, it's okay. So then they just stay up all night watching a movie about British aristocracy, and then they go down to breakfast the next day in the cafeteria at the college, and all of her friends, her nameless friends, we don't know their names, just some girls who give her the eye, and they're just like, so what were you guys doing all night? I was like, oh, we just watched a movie. It's like, sure you did, tee-hee, tee-hee. Look, man, I can understand in high school, you're all into, like, what everybody around you is doing if they're in a relationship, or if they're, like, fucking or whatever, because it's high school, and high school's petty as shit. But I remember being in my early 20s. I remember being college age. I remember knowing people who were in several different colleges, and the general consensus is, I don't care who the fuck you're sleeping with. I have so many goddamn classes and so much fucking debt that if you stop me for 5 minutes, I'm gonna beat you to death with a laptop. Stop ruining my fucking job, man. Because nobody fucking cares about that. This is... I don't know where Norman gets these ideas. I don't know where he came up with this. What is this? This is like this is seriously reads like fan fiction, except there's no, like, there's no story. You know, this isn't like Harry Potter fan fiction, because you know it's Harry Potter fan fiction because you can point to Harry Potter. This is like fan fiction, but there's no fucking story in it. You're not fan fictioning anything, you're just writing fucking madness. I keep slapping the cover of this book for emphasis, even though you can't see me, but I hope it's getting across. I really hope it is, because, god damn it, what the hell is this? It's just getting weirder the longer it goes on. Also, remember when this story was about, like, a magical space alien? Yeah, no, that didn't come up. I guess we're done with that for now. Maybe we'll come back to it. Maybe we won't. I don't fucking know. It's Empress Theresa. A fan fiction about nothing, written by nothing, by a madman. This is what you all voted for. I'm sorry, that came across as really, really negative. No, I like that you guys vote for the weird shit that I put on there. I actually do. I'm trying to get through this, but goddamn. This is, oh, this book makes my brain feel like it's melting. And this is chapter 3, by the way. This is just chapter 3. We're not done. We're not done by a long shot. I'm going to try and see right now, live. Oh dear God, there's 28 chapters. I think I died a little inside. Oh. This is going to be a hard one. I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say. Nothing happened in this chapter. We found out there's 28 more like it. So get ready for that. There's going to be basically being drip-fed tiny bits of information that make the story move forward. But mostly, we're hearing about Norman's favorite sci-fi movies and fucking historical piece films and how much he doesn't like internet trolls and the social medias. Why does this feel like a teenage, like a young adult fiction being written by a man in his 40s who doesn't understand the internet? Why does this feel exactly like that? That's exactly what this is, isn't it? Oh god, I need a drink. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you're enjoying this, and if you are, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're really enjoying it, and I really hope you are, consider donating to my Patreon. I don't do ad stuff on YouTube, so that's the only way I get paid. Well, that and a merch store, and I do have a merch store. You can check out all those things and more. They're in the links below this video. I love you all so very much. I think I need to lay down. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.